Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, folks around the world, welcome back to Hot Takes in Depth. It's a series where we break down the most polarizing, controversial, but sometimes substantiated opinions from Hot Takes Only, the sports podcast you've been missing. And be sure to subscribe to Hot Takes Only if you haven't already, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. This week, we're breaking down how Steph Curry, probably the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, changed basketball entirely. But is it necessarily a good thing or even sustainable going forward? Nobody can rationally dispute his achievements or his credentials, but his mark on the game isn't as cut and dry as you might think. For as much as Steph turned the NBA into a three-point happy league, he showed us all that replicating the exact system or style of play made popular by the Warriors requires something that doesn't come around all that often. It requires generational shooting talent at more than just one position, and the Warriors have just that. Curry entered the league as a highly touted young player with shooting talent in abundance. In his last season at Davidson, Curry averaged 28.6 points, 5.6 assists, and 2.5 steals per game on his way to winning the NCAA scoring title and being named a consensus first-team All-American. He brought incredible production with him from North Carolina to Northern California when Golden State drafted him with the number 7 overall pick in the 2009 NBA draft. And while he produced right out of the gate in the NBA, it took a couple years before Curry really took off, but ever since then, the game hasn't been the same. Before the 2012-13 season, Curry signed a 4-year, $44 million extension with the Warriors, a move that now looks like an absolute steal. Curry finished 7th in the league in scoring with 22.9 points per game, but established a new single-season record with 272 threes. And over the next couple seasons, Curry and Warriors teammate Klay Thompson became known as the Splash Brothers, making threes left, right, and center with ease. But for as good as the Splash Bros were, something was missing. They didn't have that X factor to take them to the next level. Enter Steve Kerr. The Warriors hired Kerr to start the 2014-15 season, and right away they went from a good team with great shooters to a great team with generational shooters. The Warriors won 67 games, and Steph was voted NBA MVP after averaging 23.8 points, 7.7 assists, and 2 steals per game. Steph broke three-point record after three-point record on his way to delivering Golden State their first title in 40 years and beginning an era of sustained dominance. Starting the 2015-16 season, Steph and the Warriors absolutely exploded out of the gates. They won 16 straight games to start the season, becoming the first team to ever accomplish that feat. Curry scored 118 points across his team's first 3 games. And the Warriors absolutely demolished the league on their way to winning an NBA record 73 games with just 9 losses. Curry was named the first ever unanimous NBA MVP, and the Warriors were surely on their way to defending the title. If not for LeBron James having an all-time great finals, Curry and the Warriors would have easily defended their title. But injuries and suspensions kept the Warriors from delivering an emphatic end to their season, and they became the first team in NBA history to lose a finals after going up 3-1. If the 2015-16 Warriors were a juggernaut, then the 2016-17 Warriors were a 10-ton wagon that left the rest of the league absolutely no chance in sniffing a title. In the weeks following their disappointing end to the 2016 finals, the Warriors sent shockwaves through the sporting world when they signed 2014 NBA MVP Kevin Durant to a 2-year, $54.3 million contract. Durant's addition to the Warriors meant one thing and one thing only for the rest of the league: inevitability. Durant led the Warriors to back-to-back NBA titles, earning Finals MVP both times. At this point, the only thing that could ever slow down the Warriors was themselves. And indeed, in 2019, the Warriors' quest for 3 straight championships was ended by a combination of injuries and superstar performances by Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors. Teams around the league struggle to find an answer to the East Bay juggernaut known as the Golden State Warriors. And in this age of analytics being so dominant across practically all major sports, teams turn to the three-pointer as a solution to beating Golden State. And in 2018, it looked like the Houston Rockets may have found the answer. Led by 2018 NBA MVP James Harden, the Rockets pushed Golden State to the brink of elimination in the Western Conference Finals. They made the unstoppable scoring trio of Curry, Durant, and Thompson seem beatable. But a catastrophic shooting performance from behind the arc in Game 7 sent the Rockets home and the Warriors back to the finals, where they made easy work of LeBron James and the Cavaliers for a second straight year. Houston made just 7 of 44 attempted threes, an abysmal 16%, and that's when you round up. Houston had more attempts from deep in the entire series, 277 to Golden State's 225, and made just 31% of them compared to Golden State's 38%. Shooting an absurd number of threes from an analytics perspective does seem to make sense. After all, 3 is more than 2. But without the generational talents of Curry, Durant, and Thompson, any attempt to replicate the Warriors system is going to fall flat. And even without Durant, the Warriors look all but certain to wrap up their 4th championship in 8 years when they face off against the Boston Celtics in the 2022 NBA Finals. Trying to replicate what Steph Curry, again, probably the greatest shooter in NBA history, has brought to Golden State sounds like a good idea on paper. But without the talent and the supporting cast also capable of hitting shots from deep, no team has even a remote chance at creating what the Warriors have. Let's be clear, this is absolutely no slight on Steph Curry or the Warriors. What they built in the Bay Area will stand the test of time as one of the greatest teams ever. They drafted well, hired well, and supported their main core of players with young talent. But when the day inevitably comes that Curry's career comes to an end, the Warriors will have to figure out how to move forward. Do they stick to the system and try to replicate the success of a team led by one Wardell Stephen Curry II? Or do they simply look for the best possible talent regardless of the three-point shooting ability? Teams looking to replicate the Warriors, namely the Atlanta Hawks, will realize that unless you have Steph Curry, you can't beat them at their own game. Even when Steph has an off day, which is still better than most players' good days, the Warriors have the players to support their shooting star. But can every team say the same? That's all for this week. Will Curry's mark on the game stand the test of time? Or is he just a once-in-a-generation type player who changes the course of the game, but only temporarily? Let me know what you think down below, and be sure to subscribe for more broken down hot takes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.